Are there any cyclists in the room? Any of those ones who wear lycra? Yeah, oh yeah, well, apart from right. Well, this is for you, or anybody you know who wears lycra when they go cycling. A peloton of cyclists, all bikes and extra chains and special pants with seats built in, filled up the high-speed train. They'd hurtled down from London and stopped before the sea, and now were going home again with curry sauce for tea. Despite their cleats and studs and socks, that ride at times was hell. Now for relief, it's Bee Gees songs and gargling San Miguel. Their bants were chips and Strava, camaraderie of men. Eased into lycra, little caps, it's dress-up time again. Now, those of you from around here, or with a long memory or a drink problem, may remember the long-lamented Thanet Beer Festival, which is no longer with us. It's pickled somewhere, but it doesn't happen anymore. I was there one year, and I noticed there was a particular guy I saw out there, and I realised he was typical of a certain stereotype. I mean, one shouldn't stereotype, but it just saves time. And he embodied to me that category of humanity that thinks that when they drink more, they're more interesting. Or as we call them, men. He's knocking back another pint. He doesn't want an awful sight. He thinks that he will last the night. He won't. That's what his friends know. Now his jokes are getting louder. Hopes his friends have got some powder. Really couldn't be more prouder as his bladder starts to blow. The room's now moving round him. 2 more pints follow down his chin. The lights inside him getting dim. He won't be going yet though. Oh, just one more. I'll get these all here, mate. No, go on. Here's the score. Anything but get some crisps. He drops his glass. Falls on his arse. Can't find his bus pass. I'm going home. Then in his chair, kebab in hair. He didn't pull, was just a dare, I didn't fancy her, no. At 3 a.m, like other men who think that when they're drunk they let the pain go, remembers shouts and knockabouts and guts in doubt. He hates to get this low. He's reaching for the whiskey now.
Yes, that's my husband.
There you go. Oh, the divorces that one has started with. That's you, isn't it? Now, I come from northeast Essex, which long enough ago when I was born still had its own accents, a bit like Suffolk and a bit like a throat infection. This is a tribute to my childhood accent, so I may drift into something that sounds vaguely not London. And it's a tribute to one of my favourite poets, a man called Martin Newell. And this is called Found Him Dead with an Acrobat. Twisted round her little finger, half a clown and part-time singer, high wire act, bit of a minger, ex-stunt double for Corporal Klinger. Found him dead in an acrobat, diclofenac spread round flat, duvet bunch round plates of meat, fish for dinner, special treat. This is what the papers spat, found him dead with an acrobat. Hoping for a decent send-off, garage flowers, hacking cough, skin on fire, heart of ice, try the rhubarb, really nice. Elephant's ears, Dactari's trunk, gluten-free still got him drunk, no one knew but no one asked, thought that he'd been played for laughs. Tried his best, but failed at that, ready reckoned, scored us twat. Didn't mean to hurt the cat, found him dead with an acrobat. Found him dead with an acrobat, went in first but last to bat, the dirty rotten stinking rat, found him dead with an acrobat. Now that poet lives in my hometown, strange enough, with another very famous contemporary poet, John Cooper Clarke. And over dinner the other night they said, we were talking about how to become a poet, how to become a good poet, and they said, read poetry. Not a big surprise, but read poetry, and if you want to be really good, deconstruct it and parody it. So with that in mind, this is a parody of John Cooper Clarke's writing style. See if you can catch the references, because I can't. Will you let me be your Johnny Clark? I want to be the dog that barks. Will be the voices in the dark watching box sets of Poldark. Will you let me be your school caretaker, your Saturday night defibrillator? With you I'll be the masticator. Could you be my blotting paper? Will you be forever home and call not text, it's called a phone. Expect to give the dog a bone on your coffee, I'll be the foam. Will you react favourably? Put the baton in boulangerie. Read my poems out in threes, foreplay horizontally. Will you love me like a horse? I've got the house brand special sauce. Eat kimchi till my voice is hoarse. Our loving will be coarse, of course. Will you be my final date? I am implying mortal mate. Don't delay, don't hesitate. Might not be bad, might not be great. Will you listen to me moan on Mishi Shat? That bird has flown. I want to pack my dripping foam in your sack of sushi rice. The weirdest thing about writing poems is almost every poem somebody says, oh my God, that's me. And some of these are genuinely troubling with that in mind. I've got a soft spot for Pam Ayres. Now, it's very unfashionable to like Pam Ayres, but she still appeals to a distinct group of nearly dead people. And this is about going to see Pam Ayres. I can't really call it in concert. Pam Ayres standing up in a trouser suit, really, is what it should be called. Through chilly drizzle midweek night, the patient came like me. For steaks at Cote, free parking and a little poetry. Tottered in the white tops, in beanies, perms the bald. I think I saw a brown syrup, that's what Cockney wigs are called. They'd come to hear a superstar who softly reassured her fans for years, from near and far, from modern world inured. And at her desk, books piled on piles, her sacred words laid out, each signed with friendly loopy smiles, a guaranteed sellout. Teeth, her husband, platypus, the favourites ticked off done. She even rapped about a fox, I think they like that one. Moving slowly with the times, as right left for the night. Could they believe that midst her rhymes the blessed Pam said shite? She did. Right. Yeah, there's an etiquette for poetry, and I've heard every version of this where it's like, you don't have to clap every poem. If you'd rather not, that's fine. Just think of my soul dying. Okay? Feel free. And worst gigs ever. Have you ever gone to these gigs where they don't do clapping in case it offends the people who don't like loud noises, so they wave at you? That's really weird, because you're not sure where they're going, bye, or we really love you. So keep making noise. This is about my home county. It's about Essex. In barrel-chested Epping, time will even up the score. Irons celebrating over M11's distant roar. Bellies and Terries, Poundland succession, amitriptyline, Queen Bees, what retail depression? Suits shine in sunshine, after-slave splashes, rednecks and bottlenecks, who did your lashes? Unleashing the least, up to the basset, don't mind the police, just try not to crash it. The silence is fleeting, as if quiet means no more. Lauren's not home tonight, M11's distant roar. One of the things you can absolutely rely on, playing any gig in Broadstairs, read a poem about getting old and not quite dying yet, and people suddenly perk up. This is called I Do Not Want to Die an Old Man's Death. I do not want to die an old man's death, I want to die alive. The only fear I want to feel is the one on the thrill of the ride. Let me die before I fail, even if I don't succeed. Allow me grace and freedom from unpleasantness and need. Do not think of me when I stop. I'm gone and I won't come back. There's nothing left and no one here, because I'm dead and that's the fact. Do it now while I'm alive. Hate me, love me, cry. Kiss my hand, spit in my eye. Fight me, sing to me, tell me your lies. You cannot do that when I've died, so do whatever now. There are no returns or refunds made. Don't say you didn't try. Moving swiftly on to love and its disasters. She made a list for those she'd kiss, but those she missed to shriek her risk. One more mistake, the pain she could not risk again. Next must not be the same. She thought her feelings quite insane. Thought through, she can cancel imperfection and will minimise rejection, pick up early on suggestions, scripted questions, preconception, and with that she sealed her list in fear, not with a kiss. And if true love she'll miss, she'll just well run that risk. Ever had to dump somebody and it didn't work out? Yeah, of course you have. Although it was the other way around, wasn't it, if we're honest with ourselves? We didn't catch fire. I'm sorry. The tinder did not take the spark. No worries. Fast or slow, in the end it's a no-go. Shake my hand, not my world, it's a ciao. I calculate that if you wait, you'll see that in the sea there's more than a few waiting for you, far more suitable than me. There's nothing missed or lacking, just planets unaligned. Our merits, charms and qualities remain for others yet to find. In our races to the heavens, the thermals were pyjamas. Be glad we nipped the rosehead, we've sidestepped endless dramas. Anybody familiar with the poetic form of the sonnet? Yeah, not all at once. 3 quatrains and an heroic couplet, and they rhyme. You know, that's about what you need to know. And you've got an O level. This is called I Love You. I do love you, I do not have more words. We are as one when in a quiet moment that reaches into where I'm less absurd. I do not know how to be more potent. In touch, return to when we first it knew there was no one who meant more in the world than me to them. Now I to you, all true. Wrapped in arms we stood, stand, curled, tight, secure. Same as the child, naive, I'm innocent. They loved your bones and flesh and hair and breath. Now float and spin, we are not limerent. This state is ours until its day of death. You are in my heart, I am in pulse deep. Forever swear our bond until dark sleep. I have 2 hands, but I need 3. One just for you, one for us two, and one, if I remember, for me. Because I forget. Ever since we met, I saw only you. Sometimes we two. But in the thrall of you and all, I overlooked me. And when it was we, that was all I could see. But you wanted me much more than I did, you see. Make mental note, that got 2 claps, 1 more, and I'd have left. Okay, now, microwave meals, anybody? Yeah, that's the noise I wanted. You can't eat that. Not 1, but 2 women begged. You really are a lucky dog, a male friend said. Hash brown, scrambled egg, sausage and baked beans. Pop it in the microwave, it's the meal of dreams. The women saw it differently. It's not fit for the drain. You really mustn't eat that. I'd been all day breakfast shamed. Social media. I met with you this afternoon ostensibly to see how you are doing. How's your life? Are you unhappier than me? I thought that you had much the same in mind. My disappointment with life's cards were what you'd hoped to find. It's why we fools use socials, to satisfy us that, compared to us, it's not so good, and on you, fate has shat. I was let down. You're doing great and joy filled every word. You wished me well and buoyed me up. It's a wonderful, wonderful world. Any of you live around here may know who this is about. You may recognise her. She might not even be 5 feet tall. But if I'm really honest, I'm afraid that is all I know about her. She wears her winter coat all year round and smiles the way your granny would if she was still around. She always takes the same route home, every day alone. Her shopping bag is not quite full. I don't know how she pays. She does not say a single word. Her secrets stay that way. But if she spoke, I'm sure I'll see she's lived far, far more than me. Oh, yeah! Right, a bit of sociology, a bit of practical politics. There are 2 classes. Never let anybody tell you other than that. There are those who live by capital and those who work. And in the middle, there are some confused people who think their work is slightly better, and therefore they are middle class. They are fools to themselves. You are not middle class, you're just better paid peasants. This is called Whatever Happened to the Revolution. In days of old, the wealthy placed their mediocre children in India or Africa to exercise dominion. With Empire gone, Odeon 2, they're hustled into places like media, arts and rock and roll and pushed out common faces. They'll never embrace Labour though, it's far too rough for posh folk who think that their place one up. Their arses, that's for sure. In days to come, it's artisans they'll be, because by then AI will have replaced the last consultancies while we sit by the roaring of the sea. Anybody think they know about art? Good, good. I'm glad you don't. I went to the Royal Academy Summer Exhibition where they make it simple for you. They put them on the wall with numbers and red dots that show how popular they are by people who know more about art than you. Allegedly. Without 1600 laid before me, what do I know of art? The famous, fated, loved and hated, overlooked and overrated, tucked away and understated. Without price list and dots of red, what do I know of art? I've even read the glossary, but where are the faces? Oh, there are the faces, or traces of faces, I guess. Without the cues of social mark, what do they know of art? Birkenstocks and sneakers, summer dress and linen suit, shoulder bag and mobile phone, straw hat, pork pie, baseball cap. Without a guide, I'll trust my heart, that's what I know of art. That stores my soul, connects me to the heart that made their art for me. I feel really bad telling this, but it's true. In the nobody gets mail anymore. So when you get an official envelope and it's a cardboard envelope, you think, hello, this is serious. And I opened it up, and it was a certificate for passing a diploma in dementia studies that I had completely forgotten doing. Oh, irony! Thy name is Ripon College. So this is about dementia. Of all the stuff I have forgotten, some details never escape me. The last to leave, the air I breathe, our senses held in common. The scent of you, of morning dew and love in laundered cotton. What sun remains through fevered fog dances through my eyes. I am not gone, just cannot find the lyrics to my song. Please know that you can only guess at what I still retain. And if I rail against the world, it's never you I blame. For at the heart of all I am, I'm pretty much the same. Right, this is what I usually do if I want to leave in a hurry. Anybody here from the West Midlands? Well, you're quite far away, but you can throw things. So I'm going to take a chance. This is a true story, well, which I've jazzed up a bit. Best run in a Brummie accent. Arriving by coach from the Midlands, they're excited, now nervous, well anxious. And the glue that locks up their hands is the hope she's a little less thankless. They will tell her of their lovely journey, except for that man who was sick, and ask if they have real chips here, do they cut them right proper and thick. Leatherette case they bought online, Cooper's catalogue fell from the mail, now it's used twice a year if they're lucky and the stitching's beginning to fail. This time it's to their oldest daughter, not inclined though to see them at all. She's something high up in their crypto, which explains why she never quite calls. They've no choice but to come to the city. It's not friendly or happy or green, but there's somebody famous from TV in a show which they'll boast that they've seen. On the journey back home to the quiet, the pain's in her voice. Hush dear, don't. There's our son. He's another high flyer. I'm sure he'd like a visit. He won't. Right. Couple more and then I'll take requests, which usually proves to be, will you please stop? Seriously though, poetry to me, people say, what's your motive? And I say, look, if one line registers with somebody and makes them think a little bit, that's a result. And poetry can remind us of things we've forgotten, show us things we don't know about, or sometimes just go for cheap laughs based on poor punning. This is one of those. It's about a girlfriend. Obviously an ex-girlfriend, you hear it, you'll know why. It's an ex-girlfriend who, which is why it's called Pork Pie Penny, because her name was Pauline. Let me rhyme you about Pork Pie Penny. She's a girl who likes her meat, but insists that these are her salad days and the pastry's just a treat. Some people think that she's quite mad. They say she's way past barking. They're right. She comes from Upminster. Her sense of humour, sparkling. It's not all go for Pork Pie Penny. Sometimes she's soporific. It doesn't matter. She'll wake up and return to being terrific. On just 4 coffees, pork pie penny is everybody's tonic. It must be said, though, that her laughs are snorts, which makes that pork pie quite ironic. Take your mind back to being at school, and you can remember, I know you can remember the day you were told, perhaps subtly, perhaps less subtly, that you weren't very good at doing something you quite enjoyed. Might have been painting, pottery, whatever it was, and you just decided that, well, I'm going to stop now, and felt discouraged. And you thought, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. And you carried that bitterness with you all through life, as indeed I have.
What was it then?
Poetry, thanks for asking. And this is called, accordingly, have you can guess what it's called? It's called I Am Not a Poet. I'm also not very good at finding things in my book, but we're getting there. I am not a painter. A real painter said I ain't. My technique is not so refined, yet all the same I paint. I'm not a writer. A real writer told me that, but I put down so many words they come to me like chat. I am not a dancer. A real dancer mocked my pose, but I move to the rhythm though and feel it in my toes. I'm not an artist. An artist makes real art. It's not for me to self-label and put horse before the cart. I am not a poet. A painter told me so. I do not have a self-published book coming out and my poems rhyme. I am though quite contented because I do not give a jot. I scribble like a man demented, and that, my friends, your lot. Right. Couple more and then I'm done. This is my sister's favourite poem, which when you hear it is quite distressing, because this is about dates I may or may not have had for legal reasons. And let me introduce you to. Let me introduce you to the unspeakable, the unsuitable, the undateable, the unmateable, the try and return, the bargain bin, the night of sin, the too much gin, the no obligation, the new sensation, the toast of the nation, the conflagration, the just like my ex, the one that shouts next, the one that's just sex, the one who had pecs, the one who, the play for today, the easy lay, the play away, the one that stayed, the pick-up line, the party time, the ties that bind, the didn't mind, the notch, the crotch, the gave you pox, the kept on socks, the bang to rights, the went all night, the laddered tights, the might do, might, the slept through tears, propelled by beers, egged on by cheers, confronted fears, acquired through guile, the ran a mile, the crocodile smile, the it crest file. Never stay, never say, please pray for the one who got away. And finally, anybody any experience of psychotherapy? I did this in Whitstable, and I just said, any psychotherapists in the room? Boom! I nearly got sucked out of the room by the draft. Every hand went up. So this is for anybody with any experience of psychotherapy. You'll be able to identify this, I hope. Obviously, they keep you waiting for a few minutes before they let you in to their special room. It's in here somewhere, filed under obscure. We always hurt the ones we love. They're closest to our truth, primed and yet quite unprepared to be the one that soothes. Outcomes are worst in tantrums, rants and moody sulks. You just don't understand, and I'm not seeing results. Perhaps securing all but love unseen, they make a scene. Achievements count for nothing when you're stuck at age 15. Every day's a Groundhog Day, relief or analgesic. A rictus grin, another gin, your pain's encyclopedic. Does it sound like you? You're halfway there. Please carry on the digging. You'll find a corpse. It's yours, of course. It's only just beginning. Until then, your ghosts will drag their chains around and moan. We're at a breakthrough, you and me. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much. I'm back tomorrow every day this week.